It's my great pleasure to welcome you in the afternoon part. And my name is Tomas Veit. I'm coming from Asahi European International. And today it will be my pleasure to lead you through our transformational journey towards fully unified source-to-order platform. Where to start? Let's start with what's coming. So first, a little bit about us as Asahi Group. Then few facts about the procurement function at Asahi, and then we will do the deep dive in our transformational journey, how we approached the project, what was the value proposition, but at the end also, what were our key learnings. As you know, you are having the option to raise your questions through the chat, and Sami from Smart GEP will help me to manage all the questions there. So feel free to raise any question you will have related to the presentation or anything what we are doing at Asahi in case of our transformational journey, in case of source to pay and procurement. So where to start? Asahi Group. Asahi Group is known as a beer producer, as a beer company. And as you can see from the branding here, we are having 5 international brands, which probably are familiar to you. The brand coming from Japan is Asahi Super Dry, but at the same time, we are having 4 international brands born here in Europe, Grolsch coming from Netherlands, Peroni Nastro Azzurro coming out of Italy, and Pilsner Urquell and Kozel from Czech Republic. But we are not just brewing the beer, we are also the whiskey producer, mainly in Japan, having the Nikka brand for the type of product. We are also a soft drink producer, mainly in Japan, east part of the Asia, but also Australia. But we also produce the food, starting with mints and ending with the baby food. So that's our business in a nutshell. Our mission is very simple: deliver on our great taste promise and bring more fun to the life. And I will try to share today with you our journey, which was bringing a lot of fun to everyone who was part of the journey. And I would like to bring the taste of the journey to everybody who is listening to us today. Asahi Europe and International is the global part or global type of the business. We are centered in Europe in case of the brewing and production sites and countries. We are having 8 production countries with 19 breweries in Europe. But at the same time, we are exporting to more than 90 export markets across the board. So this is our geographical footprint. We are having as a business more than 10,000 employees, and we are brewing and selling more than 42 million hectoliters of beer every year. That was small introduction of our business, and now I would like just to share a little bit of details related to our function, just to give you the context before we will do the deep dive in case of the transformational journey for us as a function, but also for the source to pay service line. So starting with people, the size of our procurement team is roughly 120 people. But what's very important is not only the size, but also the capability and the diversity. And I think the diversity is the area which can be measured through the numbers. So for today, we select 2 numbers which we wanted to share with you. The first one is the gender diversity. So our team is having more than 58% of the female. So that's our female ratio, and that goes across entire team, including our leadership team in procurement. And the second indicator I would like just to share with you is the cultural diversity, because our team, although being based primarily in Europe, is having more than 16 different nationalities, and those are coming from 4 different continents, including Asia, North America, or Latam. Still staying with the numbers, was the spend which we are having is a space for our type of work. We are managing, or we are having the spend greater than 1.8 billion euro. That's going and coming through more than 10,000 unique suppliers. But what's another indicator which is usually important for this type of discussion is spend under management. That means how big portion of the spend we are physically managing, how big portion of the spend we are physically touching through the negotiation, contracting, or spot purchases. In our case, it's around 95%, and it's happening through more than 3,000 events we are doing every year. Principles, very simple. There is no procurement without procurement, means all the spend above certain threshold mentioned in the policy needs to go through procurement hands unless it's mandated back to the business. There is one single platform for all the procurement people independently, whether they are based in Europe or Asia, whether they are based in Czech Republic or Romania or Poland or UK, and everything was happening there. It's from 99% copy paste and same for everybody. And last but not least, we are having 7 specific strategic pillars and principles which are clearly articulating how we want to bring the value back to the business far beyond just the cost savings delivery. And we should end up with some numbers again in case of the productivity and performance. And our productivity is roughly 4%. So from the spend which we are managing, 4% was delivered as a value last year, resulting into almost 70 million euro of savings or different type of benefits which are measurable in euro currency. We also unlocked more than 22 million of working capital improvements across Europe. And last but not least, we've after several years of integration and functional changes, we reached the level of 0.56 of functional cost versus the managed spend, which is a very important indicator for us, which is comparing the cost of the function versus managed spend, and then usually is linked with the first two, that means with the financial productivity in case of the benefits and working capital. We are having very simple 3 strategic intentions. It's partnership, unlocking the values through the internal partnership with the internal client and through the external boards, through the external suppliers. Disruption and innovation, challenging the status quo and ensuring that we can really do the stuff differently. And here we are not talking about the products being purchased. We are talking about everything that we are touching as a procurement function. And last but not least, one direction, assuring that really independently who is your partner from procurement at Asahi, you are having the feeling and type of service same like in another market or another corner of Europe. Naturally, what we can achieve without the people, so people are remaining our top priority, and I will be speaking about it in a second again. From the pillars and strategic role of procurement, the first one is the traditional one. It's about the cost savings and working capital improvement coming through the proper spend management, and this is normal for majority of the procurement teams. But in Asahi, we tried as a preparation for whatever type of the transformational journey, we tried to expand the strategic role of the procurement and go beyond the strategic role as a traditional role of the procurement function. We extended with the operational and transactional excellence. We also introduced the business advisory group of people, really keeping the category knowledge and expertise central within the procurement for the usage and benefit of the entire business. 2 years back, we introduced a very important, strong pillar called supplier management partnership and engagement, which is at the same time the enabler for remaining 3 pillars here. It means for innovation and import of innovation from our suppliers, for sustainability and how to deal with the sustainability impact which is caused by our suppliers, and the serve and risk management, which is these days even more important than ever before. All of that is leading us to our functional vision, where you can see similar words I try to use in the introduction of our function. It means our vision is to be a trusted partner, inspiring and connecting people internally and externally while driving sustainable value delivery, not cost savings only, sustainable value delivery through an innovative and disruptive approach. So that was a very brief intro of our business and of our function, because I thought that might be useful for you to link it with the transformation journey and what we are willing to do. So where we started. Usually the picture is very, very similar, independently whether you are speaking to the procurement and Asahi or in any other business. Nobody is having enough time. You don't have enough capacity. You are short of people. Everyone is busy. And in many cases, people just feel there is really no time to stop and think about the future. But we decided 2.5 years or 2 years ago, we decided differently. We really consciously decided to hold our horses for a while and to really think how to really change our future and how to enable the different stuff for our people, just to be able really sustainable to deliver the value to our business. And that was our start of the journey. It started with very simple things. So our formal provider, the contract was close to the end, and similar like what we are forcing all our functions, also we were really opening the traditional RFQ just to better understand what's available in the market. How good looks like, how great looks like, just to get the inspiration and understanding what we can get if we will change the approach in case of the digital transformation of our service line and function. At the same time, we were a little bit suffering with the flexibility of the partner, which become really very important element of the evaluation of the different offers we were getting. Because our business every year is going through the massive turbulence. That means different integration, divestment changes, and the same is valid for procurement, which is then supporting the business in its growth. The next one was a little bit of bitterness. Sometimes you feel you are not the customer of choice, and that was our feeling during certain type of the discussion. So we were hoping that we will move from the customer supplier type of the relationship to the partner to partner, being peer and being really the partner to those who will be the strategic digital partner for our journey. From the capability perspective, we knew that we don't have all the tools, and we were missing clearly the SRM capability from the system perspective, which was needed for our middle pillar in case of the strategy. And then we were missing the bridge. So we were having several type of the tools, but unfortunately they were not linked together. So the link was missing, and it was causing a lot of like non-compliances, but also manual work and challenges, as you can easily imagine. Last but not least, we were searching for the solution which will give us chance to really ramp up and ramp down according to the business situation, and the same to happen with the cost profile related to the digital footprint. So that was our starting point. And the selection at the end ended up with the clear summary. So GP Smart become our strategic partner for the transformation of the big part of our source to pay service line. We decided to collaborate in 3 areas: source to contract, supplier relationship management, and procure to order. In case of source to contract, really about the project management, sourcing, e-auctioning, contracting, but also full governance and tracking of the benefits. We were pretty clear that we cannot do everything at once. So we split it into 3 phases. We start with the first phase, which was happening last year, full deployment of the source to contract and SRM as a one single platform being used by all the people in procurement. Plus, we deployed the first wave of the P2O. As you can easily imagine, P2O is directly linked into the ERP system, and because we, as other similar global businesses, are having multiple ERPs, you need to do like almost wave by wave. So we agreed that let's do the first wave, let's see how it goes, and then let's hold the horses for 1 year, focus on the adoption and stabilization. And for next year, and I will be speaking about it in a second, we just consciously decided just to go for the deployment of wave number 2. How it looked. So year 1, pretty busy year, as you can easily imagine. So in January 2020, we signed the contract. In 3 months, we were live with the source to contract. So in 3 months, first week in April 2020, we were able successfully to introduce the new platform for all the procurement people. So starting from the design, data transfers, tests, different activities which are required, including the training, we were able to end up 3 months sooner than original plan with the new platform being introduced to our procurement function. It was consciously expedited because there was a lot of work foreseen for the rest of the year. Starting with the SRM being deployed in June and having the clear ramp-up plan for 18 months to really integrate and introduce all the key and strategic partners there. And then was moving us to the operational and transactional part related to the P2O platform, where we consciously decided to start with the pilot in one market in October, then to take some time to fix and ensure that everything is working. And then we continue with the additional go live for 4 additional entities, January 21st. The approach was very simple. First, to have good people, good capable people, but also those who are representing more function than just procurement. Then to have the clear project governance and assurance that we are having the key stakeholders in the group. To have the comprehensive training plan, assuring that really people don't just experience that there is new tool, but they really know how to use the tool and how to increase the adoption rate. Keep the robust communication across entire year for those who are involved in the project, but also for those who are important from the key stakeholder perspective. And last but not least, building the lasting knowledge base throughout the entire year, just to ensure every new joiner, every person who is really willing to learn how to use the system is having very easy access either to people or to the central repository of all the information related to the tools we are using now, which are mirroring our processes, ways of working, but also our policy. Key highlights reflecting the first year. The first one, extreme delivery timeline. So as I mentioned, source to contract in 3 months instead of 6. Everything was done remotely. So you remember, right? Last year in spring, COVID came, and unfortunately it came in the period when we were doing all the first preparation workshops, and it stopped the traveling of us, but also our external partner. We also reached the very interesting inspiration to our people because the pre-selected solution was considered as one of the best-in-class solution as per the Gartner metrics. And for people, it was a very nice signal that really it's important. The function is important, and the support and capability as such is very important for the business. We reached very interesting efficiency because we delisted some of the platform being used in the past, and we've reached the flexible pricing conditions which are giving us chance really to grow with the business, but to really pay according to the need and usage. We are having the full scalability, which was another must requirement, assuring that through the additional integration, we are able to add new businesses, new members of our function, and new requirements. And that was already tested during the year one. We also proved that we are having the readiness for S/4HANA potential integration, and the current cloud-based solution is really flexible to work with any future ERP system we will select. Last but not least, we introduced the new thing which was never used in the past, and it was the four-way matching. That means newly we are able to match the order also with the contract which was introduced, and that's referring back to my point at the very early beginning about the integration and link between the platforms and modules. The end-to-end benefits are clear. The first one, single procurement landscape, the platform, the place, the environment where all the procurement people are going, including me, are having the same look and feel. I can find there everything, starting with contracts, going through the reports and seeing the e-sourcing events or different stuff related to our governance, like go-to-market strategy or SAR. We also are getting very nice harmonized reporting. Here, I'm not talking so much about spend because that's addressed differently, but I'm talking, for instance, about compliance reporting or ability to see really how we manage the benefits, because everything is coming based on one single methodology from one single system. And naturally, we are driving much higher cost efficiency compared before. We are unlocking the new synergies. We introduced the new buying channels, including the punch-out catalog. So there are many stuff which newly are contributing to the higher value delivery to our function or to our business. But I think all three are equally important. We were thinking about what are on top the special benefits for us in case of the procure to order and purchase to order. And I think the most important, as I mentioned already several times, was the link. Finally, we link two planets together. The strategic planet called source to contract with the operational transactional one, which is where we are creating the orders and virtual contracts. So finally, we were able to track the order back to the contract, back to the sourcing event, back to the benefits. And we are having everything in the system for whatever type of the audit reports. There were multiple other smaller improvements for us, like the multiple payments per supplier and the different functionalities for us as a procurement would be were able newly to introduce to our people in case of the review of the PRPO process. We improved the governance, but mainly we newly are able really to see how the physical and the legal contracts are utilized. Because if you are having two systems, if you are having like two teams, one managing the strategic sourcing and another one operation and transaction, and you are missing the bridge, you never know whether the contracts which are pre-negotiated are directly reflected in the orders, whether the prices and payment terms are there, which is secured through the first block. But at the same time, how much you are utilizing the contracts. Do you need to change the allocation just to maximize the back rebates? Is there something strange versus what you expected during the sourcing that, for instance, instead of using the preferred partner, the business is using different partners? All these stuff are newly visible. And there is more and more coming, but I think the material improvement for us was probably common for you, and that's introduction of the punch out catalogs, which in the past for us, due to the very big complexity of the system and very high cost for introduction of one single punch out catalog, was not feasible to deploy. Nowadays, every month we are deploying the new punch out catalogs for different markets, for different categories, and that was additional special benefit for us as a business compared to the history. We were achieving also several project achievements as we went through the first year of deployment. The first one, we were live as per the plan. Yeah, there were small delays, 1 day, 3 days, just to fix the stuff which appeared newly. But physically, based on the key milestone, everything was delivered as we expected. Everything was delivered as we agreed with the key stakeholders, including our group CFO. And everything was done despite the pandemics and the limited travel and limited ability to meet each other. So everything was done virtually. And for us, now it sounds like norm. In the past, for us, it was first such big project which was done fully virtually. We got very positive feedback from the training session, which was one of the success indicators. And we were able also through our excellence team to train hundreds of people during a very short period in order to ensure the adoption rate is really flying through the roof. We newly obtained the GDPR compliance, which for us in Europe was a very important topic in case of source to contract and P2O. But at the same time, we were able to demonstrate that the cross-functional collaboration is really feasible and is able really, if you are unlocking the right people, you are able really to do miracles during whatever type of period. We are not at the end of our digital transformation. As I mentioned, this year is about adoption and stabilization and assurance that everything is working and we are maximizing the value coming out of the digital platform we are having available for procurement and business. But at the same time, we are having already now clear plan what we wanted to do next year. I mentioned supplier portal, giving us chance to link us with the external world, with the supplier, but not only us as a procurement, but also finance and material team, etc. We will have the massive work on the final harmonization of the master data management and governance for vendor master data, which will give us chance really to continue with the deployment of the P2O in the special markets with the special ERP system, just to ensure the vendors are the same. We are having already the full list of the art of the possible enhancements, leveraging the intelligent automation for the source to pay. And one of them that should come towards the end of the next year. That means the full new capability of the system called guided buying, including the chatbot for our internal clients in order to simplify their life and their ability to raise the requisitions and orders. What were the key learnings? People. I mentioned it twice. Without great people, with the great knowledge, experience, and without the cross-functional team, we wouldn't be able to reach it. But what was even more important was their willingness and commitment and passion to make the stuff in very special conditions, which were there last year. Agility was for us, but also for our external partner, critical just to adapt to the new norm. Role in the team, you are having all the time two options, to have the dedicated person or to have the people who are almost double-headed. We tested both scenarios, and our strong recommendation is limit number of double-headed roles, try to have really the bespoke for team, just to ensure really there is the clear focus, there is the clear prioritization, but at the end, you are able to reach the stuff much easier. Adoption, without training and without adopting, you are having just the vehicle, you are having just the tool. So the adoption through the training and regular contact with our internal clients, but also with people from procurement, was fundamentally important for making the change happen. Not the deployment itself, but really to move people from several systems to one platform and to start and benefit out of the new platform being introduced. Transparency and communication, even if there is nothing new to be shared, the experience was we need to keep our key stakeholder and people involved in the project up to date, just to ensure they really understand what's happening, why we are holding our horses, what's coming next, what was successful, but also what was not working and what are the key learnings being used for the future. Delivery, because you are usually having the cross-functional teams, for everyone, the delivery means something different. So for us, it was clear the delivery is only when the system is really fully deployed, is actively used, or has been stored actively used by the different people, either in the procurement or in the organization. And last but not least, it's more about the ambition. The standardization is really massively feasible here in case of source to pay. We reached more than 99% of the standardization and harmonization in case of source to order. There are very small deviation, mainly statutory driven. All other stuff are same, although we were not 100% sure whether it's feasible. So at the end, the confirmation from our end and from our journey is, yeah, in case of source to pay, you can really harmonize, you can really standardize, you can really ensure that vast majority of the stuff which are happening in the system, in the ways of working, in the processes, can be absolutely the same. And with that, I think we are getting closer to the end. So it was a pleasure to spend the time with you. We are open with Sami and with the team for your question. In case you wanted to contact me offline, here is my email. I would be really glad to speak with you offline if we won't be having the time or chance to speak today or during coming days of this special and unique event we are experiencing these 2 days. So thank you. Sami, I'm not sure whether we are having any specific question which I should address. I'm briefly flying through that. I cannot see anything there. Perfect. As I mentioned, it was a pleasure to spend some time with you. Hopefully you find the presentation useful for anything what you plan to do. If there is anything where we can help you or where we can exchange the information, please just contact me on the email mentioned here. With that, I wish you a great day. Enjoy the rest of the program today and tomorrow. Bye-bye.